Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and what a massive case we're going to talk about today. It's a cold case that is getting closer to getting solved. After 12 years of no answers, an arrest has been made. And shockingly in this case, it is the victim's divorce attorney that's been arrested and charged with her murder. Oh my word, there's so much to discuss, there's documents to go over, there's video clips we're going to look at, so we're going to be very busy in this next, I don't know how long it'll take, 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it is. Wow, so please like and share so others can also learn about this information, and I will give you a full breakdown of the case. Look how beautiful the victim was. Aliza Sherman. I'm tempted to say Aliza, but I got to pronounce her name correctly. Aliza Sherman is her name. Whew, this case is really a rabbit hole. So to her family and friends, I am so sorry for your loss. I want to do my very best to give a really great overview of this case, but Grizzlies, this case is massive. There's so many documents to read, there's podcasts to listen to, there's years and years, obviously 12 years worth of vigils and petitions and Mother's Day events and charities and rewards and all sorts of things, right? So I'm just going to do my very best with an overview of the case. That is my goal, just so that we all know what's going on here and who was arrested and just all of that, right? So let's quickly bring up the presentation here. And again, please like and share so others can also learn about this information. Okay, are we ready? Aliza Sherman was a 53-year-old mother of 4. She was also a grandmother. Her children were grown, from Beechwood, Ohio. So this case takes us to Ohio. And she was born in 1959 then to Albert and Doris Zinn. Her parents were Holocaust survivors. She had 3 brothers. She was a devoted Cleveland Clinic, initially a nurse, a labor nurse, and then later she actually gave up her career to raise her kids, and then I read that later she actually went back to nursing and she was an in vitro fertilization nurse. Aliza was known for her wit, her caretaking nature, and deep connections with friends and neighbors. Her brother Ed describes her as the star of the family wherever they went. Aliza was murdered in broad daylight on Sunday, March 24th of 2013. And here we are on May 5th of 2025 talking about an arrest at last. Like, oh my goodness. Wow. So broad daylight with surveillance footage. Wow. Okay. So her case remained cold or unsolved until a recent arrest. So let's deep dive these details. So Aliza Zinn married Dr. Sanford Sherman in 1982. He was a Cleveland-based ophthalmologist, and they had 4 children together. She left her career to care for her young kids, and as I said earlier, then she went back to nursing later. The family settled in a 2-story, 5-bedroom house on tree-lined Penthurst Drive in Beechwood, about 4 miles from where she grew up. She filed for divorce on June 20th of 2011 after nearly 30 years of marriage. There were allegations. Now, this is where I took a deep dive down that rabbit hole, because this husband, he passed away. So there's a spoiler. Okay, passed away. Damn, but what a sus guy. Just based on all the allegations and the lawsuits that were flying and things that were uncovered, I'm like, wait, what? Like, this is a rabbit hole in itself. And he would never cooperate with the police. He lawyered up immediately. But he's passed away. So he's never been named as a suspect. The police wanted to talk to him. He wouldn't talk. Like, oh my word. Okay, so there were allegations of infidelity, domestic abuse, and financial misconduct. Apparently, Beechwood police were called to their home 22 times between 2000 and 2013 for reported disturbances. And in some podcast transcripts and articles and things I've read where her kids have spoken to the media. They said that they would sometimes call 911 themselves because just of how much the abuse escalated in the home, that they were terrified because of how their dad was behaving, right? Okay, so Aliza accused her husband of hiding nearly $1 million in private accounts supported by a forensic accountant's findings. Now, that is really the tip of the iceberg. If you could go on a mission and read through all those documents, sure. There's a lot there. There's a couple more bullet points that I want to show you about it. We'll get to it. But he retired from ophthalmology and closed his Severance Circle practice in 2004. So you see that bullet point? When you read more into it, it's like, oh, there was a secretary that worked for him for 18 years and she just packed up and left and moved to Nevada. And then he closed his practice. Instead of hiring someone new, he closed his practice. And then I'm just like, what is happening here? And he was only 49 when he retired and closed the practice. And then there's lots of shady financial things that were happening, okay? So court records reveal Dr. Sanford's extramarital affair from 2006 to 2010. So that's after that. And a disturbing, there's the red flag, a disturbing conversation where he inquired from a friend in law enforcement about committing the perfect murder. What the ex-police friend, Larry A. Shanker, told him, and insert eye roll here, is pretty much the obvious. I think, so when he asked this ex-police friend, how would one commit the perfect murder? The police dude says pretty much the obvious. I think almost anybody would think of these. The fact that you don't use your car, you don't let your car be seen, you don't use a gun because it could be heard, you don't use your street clothes, you use something that would cover up your entire body, your face, your hands. Don't use a gun because it would make noise. Wow. I'm like, why are you don't? That's just not a valid conversation, especially not from a law enforcement officer. Like, how would one commit the perfect murder, huh? Now, Aliza had told her family that she feared for her safety. On January 16th of 2012, she said, I'm really afraid. I think he's going to do something really bad. I'm really afraid he's going to have me killed. She texted her brother Ed, trial in 2 weeks. Hopefully there is life after death. She was stabbed to death in downtown Cleveland on March 24th of 2013, 2 days before the divorce trial was set to begin. Yeah. What? This timeline is... wow. And I'm wondering if the attorney, that's the alleged killer, now he's been arrested and charged with her murder, the divorce attorney. I'm just wondering if he knew about all of this and thought he could get away with it because it would look like the husband did it. Or if he was like, I'm just speculating, was he paid off by the husband so that there wouldn't be a trial and then the husband wouldn't lose a whole bunch of money? I don't know. But this case is crazy. This is a lot, okay? So I'm trying to relay it to you. And wait till we read through the indictment. Oh, my word. Sorry for bumping the mic as well. I hope it didn't make too much of a noise. Talking a lot with my hands here. I'm just like, oh, my word. Okay. 2 days. 2 days, you guys, before the divorce trial was set to begin. Her husband refused to cooperate with police and then he moved to Florida. Okay. Right. You're like, how do I commit the perfect murder? Then there's all the shady financial stuff. There's affairs and things. There's alleged domestic violence. And then Aliza's really scared. She thinks he's going to do something bad. And then she dies. 2 days. She's murdered 2 days before the divorce trial set to begin. Okay. So then Cleveland's former deputy chief, Ed Tomba, said they did not interview with us because he retained an attorney. And the attorney said, if you want to ask any questions, you have to go through me. He passed away. This husband passed away in July of 2023 at the age of 68. So, yeah. Now, let's quickly go to this. I'm going to show you some footage from this, okay? Sunday, March 24th of 2013, the day of the murder. Aliza had texted her daughter, Jennifer, at approximately 2:55 p.m. to tell her that she was meeting with her attorney. So her family knew, and she also told one of her sons and said, don't worry, I'm gonna go meet with my attorney and I'm gonna bring pizza afterwards. I'm like knocking my glass over. I'm gonna bring pizza afterwards. So later the family's sitting around going like, where is she? We haven't heard from her for a while. This is really weird. And I mean, news quickly broke about somebody being stabbed outside the divorce attorney's office because it was in broad daylight. I'll show you on the map in a moment, okay? So she was outside the office of her divorce attorney, Gregory J. Moore, at the Stafford and Stafford law firm on Erie View Plaza in downtown Cleveland, when she was stabbed 11 times by an assailant wearing a face covering at approximately 5:30 p.m. But there's lots more details in the indictment, and we're going to have to get to it. So let me first, though, show you this. This is footage from, wait. I just want to quickly credit exactly the channel. Just wait 1 second. This is from, they posted a True Crime Garage TV posted this, which is a great compilation actually, because there's just small clips out there, and I actually haven't seen the second view that they posted here. So check this out. I've turned the sound off because it's just music, okay? So you'll see the assailant here, but just look at the amount. Here's a camera. There's surveillance cameras all over the place here. And it took 12 years to be able to arrest the divorce attorney. You know, because they just couldn't identify, you'll see now, they couldn't identify who this was. They couldn't identify the age, the race, the gender of that person. I'm just shocked that they had this, and they released this a month after Aliza was murdered. And they just hadn't caught anyone. Sure. It's very interesting. So there they go. And this is after the murder. They're fleeing the scene. They're caught on surveillance, fleeing the scene. Okay? So they just showed that a few times. All right? Now, what I'm going to do is, in fact, let me show you a little bit of Maptime. Okay, and we are back, everyone. Let's quickly go like this. All right. So let's look at this map here. Cleveland. Here we are in Cleveland, Ohio. And we go to downtown Cleveland. Okay. Downtown here. And they said it's Erie View Plaza. Right? And so if we put the little man. No, go here. Where are you going, little man? I don't know where the little man wants to go. That's the wrong place, sir. Sir. We would like to, please, go here. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that you can see this. Stefan, are you telling people to buckle up? True Crime with the Sarge is with us. So nice to see you. Thank you for being here, True Crime with the Sarge. Go and check out his channel if you haven't yet. All right. So here's 75 Erie View. Aliza was stabbed right here, right outside these doors. This is where Aliza's family they've had vigils every single year on the date of her murder to continue to raise awareness about her case, to show we're never giving up, okay, we will never lose hope, to keep the pressure on. They have been incredible, especially her daughter Jennifer, like holy crap, incredible. So they put flowers here and, oh, shame, man, marching with banners that say justice for Aliza as well. You could share this episode as well with hashtag justice for Aliza so that it categorizes us properly, right? But where Aliza was going was actually, it was 55, according to the indictment here. It was at this 55 Erie View. Let's go a little more like this. Here. And she was going to the 5th floor to meet her divorce attorney. It's kind of weird on a Sunday, or not. Is it not weird? I have no idea. I was just like, on a Sunday, he asked her to come there. He lured her there. That's what the prosecutors are saying. He, the divorce attorney, lured her there. And she was waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually she's like, oh my word, the doors aren't open. Like, what the hell, dude? You told me to be here. The doors aren't open. Where are you? And he's like texting and calling and all sorts of things. We'll get to that. But yeah, she couldn't get in the building, and she decided to walk, I believe, this way, back to her vehicle. And then this assailant chased her. And here around this area, so there's running that may have happened here. Around this area, she was stabbed 11 times in broad daylight, but on a Sunday, right? Okay, So, yeah, a lot of you are saying that the video looks like it could be a female. I also thought so when I saw it. Hey, that's interesting as well. So I have linked all my sources for you in the description box, because, and some more, even ones I can't get to today, otherwise we will be here for hours and hours, right? Southern Cali says, don't get a speeding ticket. I'm so sorry about that. I might get one. So all the sources are there, including things we can't get to today, okay? So make sure you check out the description box. But yeah, I mean, that is so scary. So we are going to go over the indictment as well. Let me now bring this back up so that we can get back into this timeline here. Okay, so we talked about the police officer, and Sunday, March 24th was the day of the murder. And yeah, shame. She was stabbed 11 times by an assailant wearing a face covering at approximately 5:30 p.m. In the indictment, by the way, they do name a co-conspirator. No, they don't name. They say there's a co-conspirator, meaning, okay, did they die? Or are more people going to be charged? I hope if there are more people to be charged that they eventually will be, right? So she was stabbed once in the right arm, twice in the neck, and 8 times in the back. An employee on the 4th floor of 75 Erie View Plaza heard her screams and rushed downstairs. Because I was wondering, did anyone see or hear that? Somebody did in the building. And so they ran downstairs, they called 911, and they said it was clear that Aliza was trying to speak. But the only thing that the person could make out was that she was saying, I'm dying. And I read an article where they said, please, lady, that's how they quoted this person. Lady, stay with me, okay? Just stay with me, okay? Calling 911. And then when they heard the ambulances arriving, he said, okay, they're coming. Please hang in there. And he just said on the call, there's just so much blood. Shame. And she was saying to this person, I'm dying. She was taken to the Metro Health Medical Center and was pronounced dead at 6:14 p.m. Her divorce attorney had texted her to meet there with him, claiming that he was there to prepare for her divorce trial against her estranged husband, Dr. Sanford Sherman. So he's like, come to my office on a Sunday, around 4 or 5 p.m. We'll get to the indictment. You'll get way more details if you just stick around. Just come to my office. And then when she gets there, shame, she's so patient as well. I'm not that patient. Whoa, I don't think I could wait an hour. It's like, she was so patient. She was like hanging around and waiting in her car and waiting for him and saying, but the doors aren't open and what's going on? And eventually she's like, oh, I'm going back to my car. I'm just going to wait in the car. Went back to her car, and then somebody stabbed her. But like this guy telling her to meet up with him. And just wait till you hear, because you might think, well, how did they charge him? Oh, he did a lot of shady things. Lots of things. Uncle Google's going to get him. Okay, so then so the divorce attorney texted her, and so yeah, that divorce trial was set to start March 26th, 2 days later, March 26th of 2013. The assault was not a robbery, as her jewelry and purse were untouched, suggesting a targeted killing, right? Now, Sussex Sandra said, but why would her attorney stab her? I asked too, but you know what? This attorney has been accused of, and he's actually been convicted of certain things, including bomb threats, making bomb threats at courthouses when the judges would no longer delay trials that he was involved in, where he was a defense attorney. If he didn't feel ready, he's like, bomb threats. And in this case, the judge had said, no more delays. We're going ahead with this on March 26th, and that's it. So I don't know. It's just like you already had such terrible behavior as an attorney to delay trials that I don't know what was going on here. This is Aliza's brother and her daughter in this picture. So her brother said maybe she had a premonition. No one can say for sure, but she took the time that day to thank so many of us for supporting her and standing with her during what had been a difficult 2 years in her life during these divorce proceedings, right? She dreamed of a new beginning and looked forward to enjoying happier days to come with people she loved the most. That dream was shattered by a senseless, brutal attack at this very site. Oh, that is so sad. So they said police cast a wide net. They searched for the murder weapon at the scene, on the roofs or the nearby buildings, but nothing turned up. They searched the Sherman residence for knives, but none of them were a match. To this day, the murder weapon remains missing. And it's interesting because 12 years later, they've raided his house in Ohio, even though he was arrested in Texas because he was visiting a relative, the divorce attorney, right? They raided his house and they're taking out lots of evidence baggies and things from the garage. So I wonder imagine if they find the murder weapon. Oh my word, that'll be interesting. But so far they don't have that, right? Okay, so on April 9th of 2013, Aliza's loved ones, including friends and family, raised $23,000 combined with $2,000 from Crime Stoppers to offer a $25,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. They also made a Facebook group called Justice for Aliza, which I've linked in the description box for you if you want to check it out. Shame. They've really been at it for years, really fighting for justice for Aliza. So I really hope that they get full justice. April 22nd of 2013, police released a 10-second surveillance video, which I just showed you, of the assailant, yielding no breakthroughs. The investigation into Aliza Sherman's murder was previously investigated by Cleveland police. It was turned over to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation in 2021. The FBI and, locals. Are there locals in chat? That word. I've seen videos that there's a debate even locally on how to say that word. Cuyahoga? Did I say it right? Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department assisted. So the FBI was also involved. Okay, so that's since 2021. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, the FBI, and the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department worked really hard together to, obviously, the electronic data. I think technology has also really obviously improved a lot since the murder. And yeah, they were able to arrest this divorce attorney. So by late 2013, the reward grew to $100,000, the largest in Cuyahoga County Crime Stoppers history, funded through community contributions and fundraising efforts led by Aliza's daughter, Jennifer. There's lots of interviews with her over the years as well, which I would encourage you to go and watch on YouTube. Again, I can't show you all of them because we would literally be here forever. Crochet Mama, thank you for being a member for 23 months. You said thank you for Grizzly for bringing us all these cases. Yes, I love bringing you all these cases and making us aware of this and, being there, even though we're very, very late to this case. This is brand new to me, but like being there for the family. I always say we're kind of like the Gatorade, because even if we're here late, maybe they're really tired by now. You know what I mean? So now we want to show them lots of support. We want to re-energize. We want to continue to put the pressure on. You know what I mean? I wish we were there from the beginning. But yeah, that was, they did an amazing job raising that reward, huh? Okay, so I have lots of clips to show you. I just want to see, I don't want to miss something that I'm supposed to be showing you in between. So just hold on 1 second. Yeah, hold on. Okay, that one. And yeah, okay. So we're getting there. In December 2013, her divorce attorney, that's him on the right-hand side there. I don't know if he really has an arm injury there or if he's faking it, because at this point, I don't trust him at all with anything. From everything I've read about him and heard about him, I'm like, what is going on? So that's him. Gregory Moore was indicted for inducing panic, having made bomb threats, to delay trials in 2012. So they were able to arrest him on that. And then on January 28th of 2016, he was indicted for obstruction and falsification for lying to the police about his location during the murder. He said that he was in the office, but the electronic data proved he wasn't. He wasn't in the office at all. But he was so naughty because he actually swiped his card to pretend that he was going into the building, but they don't believe he went in there at all during that time. And it was like a 3-hour time. We're going to go into that, okay? So, May 2017, this guy pleaded guilty to falsification and bomb threat charges, serving 180 days in jail, 36 months of community control, and 150 hours of court work service. He remained a person of interest in the murder. Okay, he must have been nervous all that time, huh? Yeah, they're coming for you. His law license was, thankfully, suspended in 2017. One would think, hey? And he resigned in the following year. Okay. When BCI had taken over the case in 2021, they applied advanced technologies, yes, including DNA analysis, fingerprint examination, and phone data analytics, investing over 6,000 hours. So this is some footage. Just hold on 1 second. That's the break in the case. I've got these clips all over the place. Oh my word. So many to show you. Let's look at this one quickly. So this was when they were at his house in Ohio, even though he was arrested out of state. He was arrested in Texas because he went to visit a relative. I find the timing of his visit quite interesting as well. You know, either from the police perspective, like, are they like, swoop in, let's go while we arrest him over there, or what? Like, I wonder the timeline of that. When did they get the search warrant and all of that, right? Okay, so check this out.
Behind me is the home of 51-year-old Gregory Moore, and churning through that home is BCI, just hours after he was arrested some 1,300 miles away.
Big crime scene trucks, it's not something you see every day.
A quiet neighborhood in Sagamore Hills, now part of a murder investigation brought back to life over a decade later. Ohio BCI crime scene trucks in the driveway alerting everyone to the action.
Shocking is an understatement, to say the least.
Moore was arrested by U.S. Marshals outside Austin, Texas at 3:30 this afternoon. He's arrested for the murder of Aliza Sherman in downtown Cleveland back in March of 2013. Shortly after, BCI went to his home, setting up what looked to be a staging area in the garage, putting items into bags on a table, taking photographs, presumably adding to the case that was enough to finally make the arrest.
I was honestly pretty shocked. I'm surprised until, like, my mom got the notification on her phone.
Neighbors shared their surprise at the heavy police presence greeting their entrance to the neighborhood. It's enough to bring folks from blocks away.
When I came home from work, I came in that entrance right there, which is my normal entrance, and I live on the other side of the neighborhood. I saw all the cars, all the commotion. We walked by to see what was going on.
Now, police tell me that they won't have anyone to give me an update today, but they have been busy going in and out of that house for the hours that we've been here. And as I stand here, it looks like they are starting to wrap things up. In Sagamore Hills, Colt Molesky, 19 News.
Sagamore Hills, I think that's where it's at, right? That's what they're saying. Okay, so let's just put that over there. Okay. So, yeah, They went in and they arrested this guy so recently, May 2nd. May 2nd is when he was arrested. I'm like, wait, what? So cold case breakthrough on May 2nd of 2025. Gregory J. Moore, 51 years old, was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Round Rock, Texas. He was visiting a relative and he was indicted in Cuyahoga County for Aliza's murder. What? After the case was a cold case for 12 years, the divorce attorney was arrested. I have so many questions, but I'm telling you, when we get to the indictment, if you like documents, we are going to read through that because it's very important for the timeline. Yeah, you could see how they eventually got to him. So his charges include aggravated murder, conspiracy, 6 counts of, so conspiracy, involving someone else, Okay, six counts of murder, all different codes and things, and 2 counts of kidnapping. Prosecutors allege that Moore orchestrated the killing, possibly with an unnamed co-conspirator, to avoid an unprepared divorce trial that could have led to professional and financial consequences. I think there's got to be more motive than that. Meaning, and sorry, I know the husband has passed away, but there were a lot of things going on there that I'm like, okay, was there also a financial incentive at all or what? Uniquely, Susie, retired hospice, RN, thank you so much. Okay, so he will be arraigned on May 16th at the Cuyahoga County Justice Center. I could not see if he's held with or without bond, but I'm assuming it's no bond. It better be. That's his mugshot, okay? Southern Calibre says, you're going down, buddy, old pal. Yeah, he's going down. So prosecutor Michael O'Malley said in a statement that evidence was accumulated that paints the unmistakable picture that Gregory Moore orchestrated and participated in the brutal murder of Aliza Sherman. And then there's a quote there that says, at first I was numb when I heard it, said Zul, who worked as a nurse with Sherman years ago at Mount Sinai Hospital and remained close friends. I always thought he was involved because I was wondering, did other people think he was involved? I mean, I would think so, knowing that he was the last person that she was going to meet with. Not that he, according to him, didn't see her, but he was the only one at the time beyond her family that knew exactly where she was going to be, right? Now, look at this, okay? Look at this. After Aliza's death, her daughter, Jennifer, filed a civil lawsuit against her dad, against Aliza's estranged husband, Dr. Sanford Sherman, for charges including counts of conversion, breach of fiduciary duty, unjust enrichment, civil remedy for criminal acts, and civil conspiracy related to Aliza's estate. They say the suit states that Aliza Sherman filed for divorce from Sanford Sherman in June of 2011 and alleges that in early 2013, during the discovery process of the divorce case, a forensic accounting was conducted and revealed to Aliza Sherman for the first time a Merrill Lynch account in her name only, surreptitiously opened by Sanford in May of 2000, according to a previous CJN report based on court documents. I'll put all the links in the description box. Between 2000 and 2010, Sanford allegedly made more than $2 million in clandestine deposits into the account. Like, this guy was doing a lot of shady financial things. That's her husband, who is now deceased, right? However, in 2004, he allegedly created a forged durable power of attorney that provided him the authority to withdraw funds from the account. And in the ensuing 6 years, the account was entirely depleted. Those are a lot of red flags for me. In her 2014 civil suit against Sanford was settled in 2016 for $110,000, revealed Aliza's fears and Dr. Sanford's behavior. Now, from that civil suit, out came all these things about the husband's, Aliza's husband's affair, about all these shady financial dealings, about him retiring early and why, about all sorts of things involving, yeah, just a lot. Sex workers, all sorts, okay? Like, there's a defamation case against him. There was from a sex worker, all sorts of things. I'm just like, whoa, like they really revealed some things. It's like opening a can of worms. Like, what's happening there? And it's so brave of Jennifer, Aliza's daughter, and obviously also Dr. Sanford Sherman's daughter, you know, to do that, to pursue that, because that would be putting her own life in danger, right? Stefan Gregory says, it sounds like a career criminal. You're not in trouble, Stefan. I said your full name. I said your whole name. He said, sound like a career criminal, right? Yeah, and Hellebort says, representing himself, not that we know so far. They said an attorney hasn't been named yet. Who knows if he'll defend himself or not, right? Katie says, even the daughter knew. What a tough decision for her to seek charges. I know, right? So scary. So Aliza, now this is what came out of those depositions after Aliza's murder, when her daughter had filed the civil lawsuit against her dad, right? Aliza wrote in an email to her attorney, that's not my signature or my handwriting. I don't recall ever signing a power of attorney. Why would I? So her husband was allegedly forging her signature, wanted to know how to commit the perfect murder, wanted to avoid the cost of divorce, and didn't want the case against him to go to trial. And those are just a lot of red flags that I'm like, wow, will it ever be revealed? Was he ever a co-conspirator or not at all? If he's not involved at all, that'll be interesting. Sure, that'll be a coincidence, you know? Susan Lewis said, the civil suit is right up my alley. Poor woman surrounded by such terrible men. Thank you so much, Susan Lewis. So Aliza's attorney wrote in his motion that these transferred assets were not used for family purposes because, of course, her late husband said that it's to pay family bills. And they said, no, it was in part used for strippers, for paramours, to settle a defamation lawsuit that Aliza never knew about. There was a lot of skeletons in that guy's closet that the family started revealing. So I find that is also scary for Aliza at the time, and she was already scared of her husband. There were already all these allegations over the years, over a decade of domestic violence, domestic abuse. Police had been out there many times. She was worried that he's going to pay someone to kill her and all of that. I just think like it would be really difficult to ignore that, as much as I'm not trying to blame a dead guy. You know what I mean? It's just really difficult to ignore all of those factors. So this is a picture of her daughter here. The reward for information leading to Aliza Sherman's killer still stands at $100,000, the largest reward in Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County history. Anyone with information regarding her murder should still contact Crime Stoppers. There's 25crime.com, and there's a number on the screen there. It's also in the description box, because you never know. If somebody saw something and hasn't yet said something, then yeah, it would be the time. Okay, so let me quickly show you like at least one more clip, and then we can read the documents, and then I've got more clips to show you. Okay, so let's do this.
Those developments included Moore being sentenced to...
That's him, by the way. That's the divorce attorney that's now been charged with her murder.
6 months in prison for bomb threats he made to local courthouses before Aliza's murder. He was also charged with lying about his whereabouts on the day of her death, a charge that was later dropped. For more on tonight's major developments, we go to News 5 investigator Scott Knoll in downtown Cleveland, where Aliza was killed 12 years ago.
Prosecutors say Gregory Moore lured Aliza Sherman here to where he worked, telling his client he needed to meet with her. But investigators say he never intended to meet with her at all. Instead, it was all part of a plan hatched months earlier, a plan to kidnap Sherman to avoid having to try her divorce case in court. 12 years after he's accused of orchestrating the murder of Aliza Sherman, the street and driveway outside Gregory Moore's Sagamore Hills home flooded with police and agents from Ohio's Bureau of Criminal Investigation. The normally quiet home on McPherson Circle turned into a neighborhood spectacle.
It's really sad, yeah.
Sadness, it is. And this is a quiet neighborhood. And we walk every day. We walk the streets every single day. And you just don't think about that kind of stuff happening in your neighborhood.
They say they didn't know Moore, really didn't see him around. But for Keenan Trimble,
I'm like, okay, I talked to that guy yesterday.
this scene even more shocking as the door-to-door sales.
You see, even that, it's like, I talked to that guy yesterday. Okay, so did he have a planned trip to Texas, or did he go like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here. Let's go to another state and stay with a relative? Is the relative his mom? I would be interested. Who did the attorney go stay with? Right? The former divorce attorney. But as he left, they swooped in here, and then also they're in Texas and arrested him.
Salesman came back through the neighborhood today.
And he was like, yeah, nope, can't really talk right now. I got to go. I got to finish mowing my lawn before the rain hits, and then I got to leave town. Like, I got to leave town quick. Verbatim.
U.S. Marshals arrested Moore around 3:30 this afternoon outside Austin, Texas.
He was actually at a family member's residence when we made the arrest on him.
Moore charged with aggravated murder, conspiracy, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 6 other counts of murder for the stabbing that killed Sherman. According to a secret indictment made public after Moore's arrest, investigators say Moore disconnected his phone from the cell network for 3 hours around Sherman's murder, an attempt, they say, to avoid creating cell tower location evidence. As she waited for someone to unlock the doors at Moore's office building, investigators say an attacker, either Moore or an unknown accomplice, circled behind Sherman, chased her down the street, then stabbed her more than 10 times.
Okay, we're going to read through that indictment ourselves, okay? Let's just quickly work through some of these. This was actually posted two years ago, okay? Check this out.
Today that Aliza Sherman was murdered in downtown Cleveland. Her killer has never been caught, and today her family held a vigil to once again honor her and call for justice. Emma Henderson reports.
I think when this initially happened, we thought someone would be arrested in a few days.
It's been a decade since Jen Sherman saw her mom leave home, never to return from an appointment with her divorce attorney.
I never dreamed we'd still be standing here today, 10 years later, without anyone held accountable.
Now flowers lay where her mother was found, 75 Erie View in downtown Cleveland, with Jen hopeful this is the last time she'll have to return on March 24th, unless it's for word of an arrest.
It's hard to explain to my own kids where their grandmother is. When she would have been the absolute best grandmother.
Now this grandmother's legacy lives on through the new Aliza Sherman Fund at Cleveland Clinic, designed to help patients and caretakers escaping violence.
It'll provide safe rooms for individuals that do not feel safe to return home. It will provide gas cards, food, money to change locks on their home.
And their initial goal of raising $50,000 to get the fund off the ground has already been surpassed. But there is one fund they'd like to see empty, the $100,000 reward fund leading to solving Aliza Sherman's case. In Cleveland, Emma Henderson, 3 News.
Shame, and they met there every single year on March 24th since 2013. Wow, so from 2014 and onwards, every year they met there at that location to continue to raise awareness for their family member's case. For the mother, that would be Jennifer, that we just saw there, that is Aliza's daughter, right? Okay, so let me just quickly, I just want to have a peek at what I still want to show you. Yeah, okay. Yes, all right. So now let's get to the indictment because that's very interesting. Thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for finding this for me. I really appreciate that because I was absolutely drowning in research. This case is much bigger than I thought, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot of rabbit holes. So I really appreciate the documents. Thank you, Grizzly Cat. All right, so let me actually, what I want to do, let's put this somewhere over here. And so we could put Aliza's picture up. We always like to do that, right? Okay, so here we go. If you like documents, then you're going to like this. Okay, if you don't like someone reading your documents, you won't like it. Now first I have to drink water. Okay, can my voice last? So it's only a 7-page document. There's Grizzly Cat. Thank you so much. I put her buy me a coffee link in the description box. And so no one gets confused because people do get confused. I put Grizzly Cat's coffee link, the mod squad, our mod's coffee link, and my coffee link. So you got to pick who you're buying coffees for, okay? If you want to top up her cup, it's in the description box. All right, so Court of Common Pleas, Criminal Division. This was the super secret sealed indictment until after his arrest. And then they released it to the public. And I'm like, oh, now we can see everything. Okay, great. So date of the offense, 1/3/2013 through 4/2/2013. Interesting. Aggravated murder. State of Ohio versus Gregory J. Moore, a former defense attorney. A former divorce attorney, like this guy. Count 1, aggravated murder, UF. It says Gregory J. Moore on or about March 24th of 2013. The jurors of the grand jury of the state of Ohio within and for the body of the county aforesaid on the oath in the name and by the authority of the state of Ohio did or do find and present that the above named defendant on or about the date of the offense set forth in the county of Cuyahoga unlawfully did purposely cause the death of Aliza Sherman while committing or attempting to commit or while fleeing immediately after committing or attempting to commit the offense of kidnapping in violation of revised code section 2905.01 of the state of Ohio. The offense is contrary to the form of the statute in such a case and made and provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. So count 1 is aggravated murder. Count 2 is conspiracy. And here it says the grand jury again unlawfully did with purpose to commit or promote or facilitate the commission of kidnapping agree with at least one other unnamed individual that one or more of them would engage in conduct that would facilitate the commission of the specified offense. To wit, Gregory Moore, with purpose to commit or facilitate the commission of kidnapping, agreed with at least one other person. Who's the other person? Arrest them, and if they have died, tell us. Because you got to conspire with somebody. You didn't conspire alone, right? Okay, so it said here, said conduct involved the use of, wait, I don't want to skip anything. Wait, they would engage in kidnapping. Yeah, okay. So, draft indictment, it says on the top there, said conduct involved the use of telecommunication devices and services that were either assets of or controlled by the Stafford Law Company and its members. That was where he worked at the law firm. Okay, and its members, associates, and or employees to communicate with Aliza Sherman for the purpose of using deception to remove her from the place where she was found to cause serious physical harm to her and or to hinder, impede, or obstruct a function of government. The purpose of Aliza Sherman's kidnapping was to obstruct Judge Rosemary Gordina Gold from conducting the trial in the divorce case of Sanford Sherman versus Aliza Sherman. Isn't that interesting how they word that? The purpose of the kidnapping was to obstruct the judge from conducting the trial. During the week of Monday, March 25th of 2013, a date that had been set by Judge Gold in December of 2012. This goal was designed to be achieved by causing Aliza Sherman to be unavailable to attend the proceedings due to serious physical harm and or death. The scheme to use telecommunication devices and or services to kidnap Aliza Sherman began on or about January 3rd of 2013. Oh, there's a couple of months of preparation, right? Julie saying, do you have your own coffee link? It's in the description box for you. It's like right there. If you just open the description box, it's there. Okay, so listen to this and pay attention, because I had to read this twice just to like visualize everything and try to make sense of all of it. Maybe you'll get it first time, but I'm like, huh? When I first read this, I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so everybody, are you awake? Are we paying attention? The scheme to use telecommunications devices and or services to kidnap Aliza Sherman began on or about January 3rd of 2013, when Gregory Moore and at least one other unnamed individual learned that the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office was investigating Moore's cell phone usage in 2012 when bomb threats were called into courthouses where Moore was scheduled to be in trial. The bomb threats on January 18th of 2012, May 30th of 2012, July 10th of 2012 were part of a pattern of behavior that Moore exhibited to delay court appearances that he was scheduled to attend in the calendar year of 2012, a pattern that members of Stafford Law Company were aware of on January 3rd of 2013 and which continued from January 3rd up to and including March 24th of 2013. Within a day of when Moore is the suspect. Moore is the alleged co-conspirator, alleged killer, right? So when you hear Moore, that's the divorce attorney. When you hear Sherman in this document, that's the victim, Aliza Sherman, okay? So he made a bunch of bomb threats to because he couldn't delay trials anymore, to delay trials. Like, what a weird attorney. That's an understatement. Okay, so then it says a pattern that members were aware of up to March 24th of 2013, right? From January to March 24th. March 24th is very significant. That's the day of Aliza's murder. It says within a day of when Moore and said other individuals learned of the CCPO investigation, Moore obtained a new cell phone on the Stafford Law Verizon business account and was given control of a 4G mobile broadband device, a mobile hotspot, that was also on the Stafford Law Verizon business account by an individual with authority to make such changes to devices on the firm's account. Like, they sound like they know who they're talking about. Who is it? Name them. Name and shame. This change to the mobile hotspot facilitated Moore's ability to perform the overt acts in furtherance of the kidnapping of Aliza Sherman in a manner calculated to avoid detection by law enforcement. On Sunday, March 24th of 2013, Gregory Moore performed the following substantial overt acts in furtherance of the scheme to kidnap Aliza Sherman. At approximately 2:31 p.m., Moore texted Sherman to meet him at the Stafford Law Office at 4:30 p.m. and requested that Sherman let him know when she was leaving for the meeting. So the divorce attorney says, hey, Aliza, come and meet me around 4:30, but let me know when you're on your way. At approximately 3:54 p.m., Sherman texted Moore saying that she was leaving for the meeting and would be there by 4:30. Moore responded to that text with one that said, take time, closer to 5. At 3:57 p.m., Sherman texted that she left and asked Moore, I left, will wait, call me when you get there. These messages caused Aliza Sherman to drive from her home in Beechwood, Ohio, to Erie View Plaza in downtown Cleveland and wait outside the Stafford Law Office building for Moore to arrive for a meeting that Moore never intended to have. That's what the prosecutors are saying. Unbeknownst to Aliza Sherman, the divorce attorney arrived at the Stafford Law Office and used his electronic access to swipe the front door to the building at approximately 3:51 p.m. After Moore swiped his electronic access, he either did not enter the building or he entered the building and then left prior to 4:07 p.m. From at least 4:07 p.m. until 7:30 p.m., Moore was not inside the Stafford Law Office building. That's a long time. That's over 3 hours, almost 3.5, right? Keith Peterson, thank you so much. So then it says, at approximately 4:15 p.m., Moore called Sherman, but did not speak to her and did not call back again. So the divorce attorney called the victim, didn't speak to her, didn't call back again. At approximately 4:19 p.m., Sherman texted Moore saying, sorry, couldn't get phone. Got here quicker than I thought. Let me know when you're here and I'll wait in my car. No problem. Shame, she was so patient. Moore did not communicate with Sherman again until approximately 5:11 p.m. That's an hour later. From approximately 4:23 p.m. to 7:32 p.m., the divorce attorney disconnected his cell phone from the Verizon cellular network. The effect of this was to disable the phone from making and receiving calls and to disable the phone from creating cell tower location evidence within Verizon's cellular phone records. I thought he was being smart. Normally, this would also disable the phone from sending and receiving text messages, but Moore was still able to send and receive text messages using his Verizon cell phone number as described in paragraph 6 with the hotspot. Between approximately 5:11 p.m. and 5:22 p.m., Moore resumed text message communications with Sherman, despite his phone being disconnected from the Verizon cellular network. This was likely done by this divorce attorney using Stafford Law mobile hotspot that was given to him on January 4th of 2013 in connection with at least one other telecommunications device equipped with a Verizon message service that could send messages to and from Moore's Verizon cell phone number without his cell phone number being connected to the Verizon cellular network. This sounds like there's a lot of people involved here. And it sounds like there could be a lot of money involved. Let me know what you're thinking. I really look forward to reading all your comments after this live stream. Put some comments below of what you're thinking, because I'm just like, whoa, this is a lot. At approximately 5:13 p.m., Sherman texted Moore saying, will you be, so Sherman, the victim, texts the divorce attorney, will you be here soon? Standing outside the building. If not, we'll go back to my car. Shame. This is getting very close to the murder time, right? At approximately 5:14 p.m., Aliza Sherman texted Moore saying, will you be here soon? Kind of cold. Moore responded to this message at approximately 5:15 p.m. saying, been here. That's a scary message, actually. Been here. This text, in hindsight and with the assailant video, I mean like that, okay? This text was designed to cause Sherman to continue to wait outside the door to 55 Erie View, believing that Moore was inside the Stafford Law Office waiting to meet with her. So, YouTube disclaimer, this is all public record. I'm not sharing addresses or anything like that I'm not supposed to be sharing. This is an indictment in a murder case that we are reading through, provided by the prosecutor's office and found by Grizzly Cat. Thank you, Grizzly Cat. Pamela, thank you so much for your sticker. At approximately 5:16 p.m., Sherman sent the victim sent the divorce attorney a text saying, doors locked. I thought you would text me when you got here. Been in car 45 minutes. It's okay. How do I get in? At 5:22 p.m., Sherman sent a text asking Moore, if you are here, why don't you let me in? I guess I'll go back to my car. Too cold. Text me when the door is open. Thanks. During this time frame, an individual who was either Moore, either the divorce attorney, or an unknown co-conspirator, approached Sherman from East 12th Street, circled behind her, chased her from 55 Erie View to 75. That's what I showed you earlier. So if you missed the map time earlier, I'll timestamp everything for you. Then you got to check it out because it went from 55 to 75. Shame. So that's what, if you can visualize it if you watch that part with me. Chased her from 55 Erie View to 75 Erie View and then stabbed her over 10 times before running eastbound on Hamilton Avenue through the East 12th Street intersection toward the East 17th Street. This assault caused serious physical harm to Aliza Sherman and eventually her death. After the assault of Sherman was complete and the assailant was out of view of surveillance cameras at Hamilton Avenue and East 12th Street, the divorce attorney resumed texting the victim while continuing to have his phone disconnected from the Verizon cellular network. Moore sent Sherman texts at approximately 5:41 p.m., 5:47 p.m., 6:01 p.m., 6:16 p.m., 6:25 p.m., and 6:43 p.m., wherein Moore repeatedly asked Sherman where she was, whether she was going to meet with him, and for her to call him. These texts and requests for calls were the purpose of creating false evidence that Moore was unaware of Sherman's assault. At the time of these communications, Moore was not inside the Stafford Law Office, yet Moore knew that Sherman was not there. Moore's phone was still unable to receive calls, yet Moore knew that Aliza Sherman was not calling him. Moore knew these things because he knew that Aliza Sherman was incapacitated by the assault. At approximately 7:30 p.m., Moore electronically entered the Stafford Law Building from the dock entrance. So if you think he wasn't shady enough before, yeah, then at 7:30 p.m., he electronically enters the law building from the dock entrance, which was in an area where he could be unobserved by law enforcement, who were still conducting an investigation of the crime scene in front of 75 Erie View. At approximately 7:32 p.m., once inside the Stafford Law Office, Moore connected his cell phone back onto the Verizon cell phone network and called Sherman's cell phone at approximately 7:32 p.m., 7:33 p.m., and 7:43 p.m. These three calls were part of a series of communications from Moore to Sherman between 7:32 p.m. and approximately 9:05 p.m. designed to continue the creation of false evidence that Moore was unaware of Sherman's assault. On the morning of Monday, March 25th of 2013, Moore arrived, so now there goes the next day. He arrives at the Stafford Law Office at approximately 8:23 a.m. At approximately 8:51 a.m., an employee of Stafford Law contacted Verizon and attempted to cancel the mobile hotspot from the Stafford Law Verizon business account. The mobile hotspot that this employee attempted to cancel was the same one that was put into Moore's control by an unauthorized individual by an authorized individual on January 4th of 2013. This case is crazy. Who are these people helping with the hotspot and all of this? What is happening in this law office? They better all be shaking in their boots. I foresee more arrests in this case, do you? Wow, so the mobile hotspot this employee attempted to cancel was the same one that was put into Moore's control by an authorized individual on January 4th of 2013. And the day after the murder, you're like, let's cancel that hotspot, shall we? Well, activated 2 months before. But then like the next day, we'll just quickly cancel that hotspot. Additionally, on Monday, March 25th of 2013, an employee of Stafford Law deleted a voice message left by Aliza Sherman on the Stafford Law phone system from the call box outside the building. Okay, let's just read that again slowly. So that same Monday, an employee, and they're not saying it's Moore, an employee of Stafford Law deleted a voice message left by the victim in this case on the Stafford Law phone system from the call box outside the building on Sunday, March 24th, 2013, without making it available to law enforcement. Oh, that's not sus at all. On March 29th of 2013, Moore filed a notice of suggestion of death in the Sherman versus Sherman divorce case. Then the case was dropped, huh? Interesting. So on April 2nd of 2013, the Sherman versus Sherman divorce case was dismissed, thus ending the case without a trial ever having occurred before Judge Gold. And ironically, at the same time, hubby is not talking to police and he's moving to Florida. Okay, that same day, the same person who authorized the change to the mobile hotspot on January 4th of 2013 authorized Moore to switch to a different cell phone while still being on the Stafford Law Verizon business account. Moore then transferred his Stafford Law cell phone number to a different cell phone than the phone he was using on March 24th of 2013. Right. Furthermore, and the object of the conspiracy was a felony of the first degree. He also has been charged with kidnapping. He's also been charged with 2 counts of that, and then all these different counts of murder, right? So different codes, as you can see, they're 290302A, 2903.02B. You can look those up if you want, or pause to read all of those. See? Can you imagine? Like this guy, oh my goodness. Wow. There's actually other documents as well from previous indictments. He's had other charges, remember, with all the bomb threats and things? Yes. So that's what we have. Let me just quickly, because we're almost at an hour mark now, I quickly want to show you what the former chief investigator said just 2 days ago. Oh, now we're going to have to resize. Sorry about that, everybody. Give me 1 second. Let's just do it like this. Okay. I love how this lady looks. Look at her glasses and her hair, just everything. Okay, so let's listen to this.
Evidence 13 years ago to consider Moore a strong suspect in Sherman's death.
Bryant McRae.
It's a little bit soft, huh? It's a little bit soft. Hold on 1 second. Okay. There we go.
Joins us live after speaking with a former deputy chief with the Cleveland Police Department who was part of the original investigation. Bryant, tell us what you've learned.
Well, yeah, good evening, Sia and Russ. The attack happening in the very shadow of this building, all caught on camera, including the suspect. However, police say the video did not show enough of the suspect to lead to an arrest.
It's security camera video, which has haunted Cleveland for years. A person in dark clothes, their face and hands covered, running from a murder scene.
We couldn't tell you up until today if it was a male or a female, the race. We didn't know what it was. So the challenge of this case was just, it was overwhelming.
Ed Tomba, now the chief of police in Middleburg Heights, reflecting on his time with the Cleveland Police Department, leading the investigation into the murder of Aliza Sherman.
We looked at every angle, every assault that ever occurred downtown in that area to look for suspects.
A suspect, Tomba says, often pointed to Gregory Moore, Sherman's divorce attorney.
Here's a guy that knew date, time, location, where she would be.
Tomba says, still, the proof wasn't there.
I had my suspicions, my hunches, but I'm a police officer. I have to deal in evidence.
Every March,
for the justice that you so rightfully deserve.
Sherman's friends and family coming back to the site of her attack in search of answers.
What are their sentiments like today to know that this is kind of the first real step in finding out who murdered their mother?
Yeah, I think there's a sense of relief. I think there's a thankfulness, for it. I do think that they are very happy that the first step toward that justice is being served.
The first step. You heard it. The first step. Okay, so I've linked all these clips and things for you. I just want to see if there's any others that I have to show you. Hold on 1 second. Did I show you that? There's a 7-minute one from the same news channel, WKYC Channel 3. I would recommend you watch. It's in the description box for you, okay? Stefan said if that's a female, the case is even crazier. It really is, right? Okay, yeah. No, all of these I have linked for you. There's many other things that I would love to show you. But let's not make it too long. I want to make sure that people do watch this replay if they missed the live stream so they can understand, like, this case is crazy. I mean, if we see a couple of more arrests, I will not be surprised. This sounds pretty big. There's dodgy things that went on in that office. There's the red flag husband as well, who's no longer with us. Like, what is happening? Mrs. Angel said, how did her husband die? I want to quickly see. Dr. Sanford Sherman, the estranged husband of Aliza Sherman, died in early July 2024, just before the 4th of July holiday at the age of 68 in Florida. That's what's reported, right? He was living in a nursing facility at the time, and his death was confirmed by an attorney hired by the facility to find a guardian to represent him. No specific cause of death was provided in the available sources. Sanford was never named a suspect or charged in connection with Aliza's 2013 murder, although he was uncooperative with the police investigations and he's got red flags all around him, right? Okay, so they said his death was noted by the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, BCI, but it was stated that it did not affect the ongoing investigation into Aliza's murder. Oh, okay. Interesting case. Now this case, oh wow. Tranquil Mimi, welcome. If you're joining membership today, anyone else, make sure you check out the members only playlist, because we just recently had a members only stream and you might really enjoy that. So go check it out to see what it's like, and then hopefully you'll come to the next one. It's usually, on the weekends or so, maybe Fridays or so. Just look out for the link, okay? Court Lurker says justice for Aliza. I really hope so. And as they said, shame. This is only the beginning. This is the beginning of the process for justice for Aliza, and I really hope that there will be. I just think there's going to have to be a couple more arrests, right, before all that happens. But at least they now have the divorce attorney arrested, charged with many charges. We've gone over all of those in the presentation, and I will definitely be keeping you posted on this case because I'm invested. I'm just like, wow, there's so many, as I say, podcasts, news clips. If you just type in Aliza Sherman or at this point, Gregory Moore, you're going to find so much on YouTube as well that I hope you will check out, because what a case. Thank you again to Grizzly Cat for the document. Everybody, what we're going to do now is we're going to teleport to Courtroom Confidential. That's Josh Ritter's channel. Obviously, he's a friend of our channel here. Let's go and raid his chat because he is busy premiering an interview with Chase Hughes from the behavior panel, which is the third behavior panel member that is being interviewed. He's interviewed 2 others before that, so it's only Scott left. I hope he doesn't. All right, everyone. So I will see you in the next one. I'll keep you posted. Stay safe until then. Bye, everyone.